Writing down goals is useful, but creating habits that lead to those goals is so much more important. Hello my lovelies, without further ado, today we're going to be talking about how and why I'm having the best year yet. I mean, it's only been like 3 weeks, but nevertheless, I actually really wanted to discuss a few things with you about my current new habits, healthy routines, and things that are making me feel better than ever. Better, best yet, I would say. And I've kind of been hinting a little bit about it online. I've been showing you some of my new things that I'm doing, like the workouts, the Zoom calls, and you guys wanted to know more about it. And I have to be very honest, nothing made me happier, because if there's one thing that I want to do in 2022 a little bit more, is I want to add value. I want to add value to you guys, to your lives. I want to show you what I'm doing that has improved my life and could potentially improve your life too. Now, this channel for sure will have its main topic be fashion. That will never change, because I think it goes without saying that fashion is my number one. It's something that I've always loved. It's something that I kind of live and practice, and luxury is what I enjoy a lot. I enjoy sharing my knowledge with you guys, going to fashion weeks, attending all of that stuff, and then sharing my opinions and views with you. But there's also another aspect of what I want to share with you, and that's my journey. I want to share with you a journey on becoming better, on becoming just in generally happier with everything that I'm doing, and I would say also more productive. Productivity is a very, very big thing for me. It's always been, but I don't like to kind of talk too much about productivity, because if you spend all the time in the world just talking about productivity and thinking about productivity and arranging the productivity, it kind of defies the purpose. Because if you spend hours on putting systems in place that will help you be faster, then in the end it's all the same. So I like to do more and speak less, and we'll get to that in a little bit. You all know, and you've already seen, that I spent the beginning of the year in St. Bart's. Now, that was truly beautiful. I went with my friend Ksenia, who also has a YouTube channel, and I'm saying this because if you're interested in this kind of topics, you should definitely check out her channel, and I'm sure she will be sharing her goals for the year and kind of her journey, and definitely check her out and subscribe to her, because I think that she has a very different approach to me and different way of thinking and experiences, which made us work together very, really well. But I'll get into that as well a little bit later. So first things first, I started the year in St. Bart's, and it was very easy for me to have this really healthy, good first week of the holidays, because I started the year by working out, by enjoying the sun, by reading more, by, getting up and practicing no phone rituals, and just really enjoying everything. So that when I returned back, I felt so good that I just simply wanted to continue the same method. I really wanted to enjoy my life, how it was set up from the beginning of the year, and I wanted to carry on with the same good habits. So I realized that as every single year, I always set goals. I always make sure that I have very much defined goals. I always sit down in December and write down all of my goals for the next year, and I kind of leave it there. And I do think it works, because it's very important to write down your goals. There's this kind of relationship between your brain and your hand. While you write it down on an actual paper, not on your computer, on an actual paper, it really helps kind of connect what you really want to achieve and your brain, and puts things in practice. Your brain is making things happen, writing. So I've always done that. It always was great. But then, I would just leave it and not really revisit it. So I realized that writing down goals is useful, but creating habits that lead to those goals is so much more important, because here is one of the main sentences of this video. Consistency is the key. You have consistency only in true habits. So to start off, I decided to set my goals for the year, and then I divided them in 4 different categories. I sat down and I wrote down my personal goal, my business goals, my financial goals, as well as some wellness goals, kind of general. I also created some random goals as well, or at least that's what I call them. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about them, and then explain to you how I plan on achieving them. But this is not really going to be a goal video, it's more habits video. So once I had my goals done, I wrote underneath some of the habits that if I implemented in my life would bring me closer to those goals. So for example, If your goal is become fitter this year, the habit that you would have to implement would be to work out more, right? If you wanted to have, like, as you guys know, you read my New Year's resolutions every year. Every year, one of my resolutions is to have better posture. So, why is it not working? And I put under that resolution, like, do back workouts. I have very weak back muscles, whatever. And I just put it down, like, in that way I decided to create these habits that will bring me to those goals closer. I read a lot about the goals, a lot. And what I realized is that most of the people say you shouldn't write, for example, have better posture. You should write a question, which would be, how can I have a better posture? So if you want to get fitter this year, your goal should not be like, get fit this year. You should write down, how can I get fitter this year? And then you should answer the question below. Up until now, I would only just write what I want to achieve, and I would leave the kind of realization of the goal to the destiny and I don't know what, but I've kind of decided to change that this year, because there's also a saying which says, if you want to achieve different results by using the same technique, it's not going to happen. You have to change the technique if you want different results, right? So I decided to put my goals into questions and ask myself, how can I have better posture? How can I get fitter? How can I keep my inbox clear? How can I be more responsive on my WhatsApp, for example? And that is what basically I did. So I divided the goals, and then I asked myself questions, and I set little things that would help me maintain better. I opened the Notion. For you guys who don't know what Notion is, it's a free software that you can sign up to online, and basically you just create some sort of like an online agenda. Now, I very much believe that the physical agenda is extremely important, and for me, I have a lot of stuff in my agendas, and it's very important to keep everything in writing. So I would first write everything on the paper. Like I said, I wrote my goals and my habits, and then I created the Notion template that in the morning when I wake up, I have these things like my morning routine habits, my midday check-in, like afternoon, and like daily shutdown. And that way I make sure that I have to tick off each box every single day, and I stay in tune with my habits. I'm gonna actually open my Notion so that I can see all the habits that I have, so that I can share them with you as well. Let's do that. Daily check. Here we go. So my morning routine consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 morning habits that are very important to me, and I make sure that I never skip them. Today I've achieved all of them. So the first morning habit that I wanted to do is, in order to be more present and to start the day in general more wholesome, feeling better, feeling more in place, and just feeling the day as it is avoiding the phone. Now this is very important to me because my whole work life is on phone, and there are so many studies which say that you should not use the phone first half an hour to an hour after you wake up, and you should not use the phone the last half an hour to an hour before going to bed. And I have been first of all, I had to inform my whole family about this rule. I keep my phone on like a little moon, which is kind of like do not disturb, so people are not calling me. And if they are calling me, if it's something urgent, they have to call twice in a row in order for it to get to me. So every morning, pretty much, I don't use my phone at least half an hour, but very often it's actually an hour. And I love having my phone in the other room. It's just so beautiful. I make myself a coffee. I enjoy having morning thoughts. I think about what I dreamt. I think about what I'm going to do that day. I set my little goals, and I just enjoy the morning by myself. The second thing of the day that I think is extremely important is make bed. And I know this is so ridiculous, but I read a lot of books which say that making your bed first thing in the morning, like literally you get out of the bed and you make it immediately, is extremely important because it sets your first victory of the day. And I know this is gonna be a little bit embarrassing probably, but I wasn't doing that before. It's so funny because when I called my best friend, I said, oh, I'm actually making the bed every morning, and not my boyfriend. But I'm making bed every morning because I like to do it I would just kind of throw something, and make it okay. But now I really put effort to make it look so beautiful, and it's so much pleasure at night to go back to bed. But besides that, I read so many books, like I said, which say that making your bed in the morning is extremely important because it actually sets your day how you want to do things. It kind of gets you in the habit of doing things properly. So apparently It's very important. And if you're not doing it, maybe you want to consider just adding it to one of your habits. Then I have few habits that are connected one to another, so that if I do one, it's easier to do the other one as well. I work out every day besides Saturdays when it's my lazy day, and I make sure that I have at least 1 hour workout. Yeah, it can sound like a lot. And this is where the Elastic Habits book helped me a lot. I actually read it this year, and I first heard about this book from another YouTuber called Michelle B. She strongly recommended it, so I was like, okay, let me check it out. And this book is really great because it tells you that habits are extremely important and the consistency is very, very, very important. Now, why is the consistency important and how can you make sure that you work out every day? In this book, the author is saying that if you actually make sure that you have kind of like 3 sets of three levels of achievement. So for example, the mini habit where you do like 1 push-up a day, or you can do 10 push-ups a day as like a plus, or elite, which could be 1 hour workout. So let's say that my elite workout is 1 hour a day, but half an hour a day would be my plus workout, whereas my mini, to just make sure that I've done it and not have forgotten about it, would be to do, let's say, 20 push-ups or press or sit-ups, whatever. So that way, even in the busiest days, you can always make sure to find time for 20 sit-ups, because, you know, it's just, you can always squeeze it in somewhere in your day. Even if you're on a flight for 15 hours, you can still do it. And it's really important because you are staying true to your habit. You're sticking to your habit every single day, no matter how little or how big it is. And once you get that habit going, you can increase the amount of your mini habit, plus, and elite. So you can do like half an hour as a mini habit, 45 minutes as a plus, and let's say an hour or whatever as an elite. And I really like this principle because it's helping me really, really stay. So now my next habit would be to drink more water. And since I used to really not drink a lot of water at all, I put that like to have 1 of this extra a day is my mini, like to have 3 of them is my plus, and to have 5 of them is my elite. And that's like really helping me stay consistent with the next habit, which is drinking water, which also helps if I go to the gym, because I bring this first thing in the day with me, then I carry it on, and then it kind of just becomes a habit which is easier to continue throughout the day. Then at the end of the workout session, I always have 10-minute stretch. I really enjoy stretching because in generally I'm very, very flexible, but the stretch is something that I truly enjoy. And while I'm stretching, I always put on my earphones and listen to some daily affirmations. Now you can find always 10-minute daily affirmations about health, wealth, whatever you want online, on YouTube in particular. And this basically is my next habit, like daily affirmations. Make sure you do your daily affirmations. So if I already go to the gym and I bring my water and I listen to my affirmations at the end, I've like ticked off 3 habits, which is tricky because if I don't go to the gym, it can easily drag down my 2 other habits. But I created systems which help me to connect different habits to different days, so that on Saturday, even though I don't work out, I just do like 20 sit-ups, I drink, and I do my affirmations, if that makes sense. Next habit after my affirmations that I really enjoy and love, and I listen to them even sometimes when I'm walking, when I'm in taxi, when I'm whatever, out and about, and make sure that I always listen to them because I think it's a very important one. The next one would be to journal. So every time, once I'm back from the gym, I make sure I pour water, helps, you know, with the water thing. I sit down and journal. I journal 3 things. Like, one thing is what I'm grateful for. The second thing is what makes me happy, like, or what made me happy. And the third thing is what are my goals for that day, or my intentions. Intentions are very important because that way you can easily put the direction on the day however you like. And this is so important for me because I don't put like, you need to film 3 videos and 5 TikToks. Instead, I just put 1 intention for that day. And that makes it so much more productive because usually it's very easy to tick off that one day, 1 intention for the day. At the same time, when I pour the water after gym, I also take my vitamins. I don't really take them before gym. I always take them after the gym. And then I set goals for the day. after journaling or while journaling, and I check my to-do list. So that is basically all that's on my morning to-do list. As you will be able to see, I will probably insert a screenshot of this. Then I have my midday check-in, which is very work-related, and it has clear emails. One of the big goals for me for this year was to always keep my inbox tidy, to keep everything like responded. Like, I don't know if this is something to do with the fact that I'm a Pisces, but I'm very not responsive. And the reason is because I get around like 500 messages a day. I get hundreds of emails every day, and I get a large amount of WhatsApp messages. Once they accumulate, which usually happens around Fashion Week for me, but once they accumulate, then whatever's coming, I'm not responding to. And it's just because I feel so overwhelmed about the ones that I haven't responded to that I feel that if I respond to the new ones, it's not helping, and then I get this crazy backlog, and that's not good. So I make sure that throughout the day, I have clear inbox kind of thing popping out in order for it to help me maintain the clear conversations thing. And what I've done at the end of December, I made sure that I've archived all the conversations on my WhatsApp. I used to have 180 unanswered chats on my personal phone. And not because I didn't want to respond to them, because most of them were to some people that I really care about. But I literally have like 4 people that I would respond to, and that was it. And it was really, really bad. And I felt terrible about it. I hated it. I felt overwhelmed. I felt guilty. Then I would run into those people and I'd be like, I was meaning to get back to you, but I'm so like overwhelmed by unanswered chats that now I cleared everything. And now whoever messaged me for like 3 weeks already this year, I immediately got back to them. And I'm so proud of that because I'm immediately responding to people. It's so much easier to do that once you're on top of the conversations, right? Well, at least I think so. So that really helped me a lot. So having that habit to clear the inbox, like, or to check the inbox in my habit tracker, like throughout around the midday, really helps me stay on top of the goal to keep the inbox clear. Then in midday, I usually have a few other things, which are plan social posts, post on Instagram, on TikTok, and speak to you guys either through YouTube stories, YouTube community, or shorts, because I find that it's very important that I speak to my audience every day on each platform. And those are my 3 platforms: Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. In case you don't follow me or you're not subscribed, make sure to change that. I'll leave all the information in the description box below. My daily shutdown also has clear inbox because sometimes due to different time zones, I will receive a lot of US emails around evening-ish. I also have a 15-minute tidy, especially like if I'm filming and there's like lights and cables, camera, tripod, laptop, notes. I like to clear all of that up and not leave it hanging around because otherwise I cannot relax later with my boyfriend when he comes home from work. Right to do for the next day because I know everything that I'm still in the flow. You know, the flow is very important to me. I don't like to be interrupted when I'm creating content. I don't like to be interrupted when I'm doing stuff. So flow is very important. And considering that I'm now working for like what, 8-9 hours in a day, I'm in a good flow to know and to remember all the to-dos for that day or the next day. So it's very easy for me to remember to do items and like to do all the tasks that I need to do for the next day. My evening shutdown is very, very important. It's skincare routine, getting comfy, eating dinner, and reading. Now, skincare is again one of my kind of wellness goals, looking after myself and my skin and my hair specifically. I really never loved my hair more than at this point of my life. I love the color, I love the length, I love how healthy and shiny it is, the texture. And it's all due to a certain routine that I have in my weekly habits, and then my skincare is in my daily habits. So it's important because in order to achieve that kind of like wellness goal, I need to put like a good skincare into my habits in order to never skip it. Equally so, daily read is in my daily habits because every day I have a goal of reading at least 15 minutes, but usually it's way longer than that. This year I read 2 or 3 books. This time I think that you're watching it, it'll be 3 books. So it's not that much. I read like a book a week, and this is something that is bringing me towards my goal of becoming more entrepreneurial, organized, and disciplined. Getting cozy, comfy, etc. Dinner is part of my kind of like relationship goals, which is always having dinner or time with my partner. No matter how busy we both are, we always make sure that we have at least 1 hour in the evening where we talk about our day, where we connect and switch off from all the electronic devices. But to get back to discipline, discipline is the most important thing that I rely on in my life. And now I'm kind of done with sharing my new habits with you guys. I'll go back to like my daily workout. Now, many of you have messaged me asking, how do you stick to your like daily workout? Like, we never used to see you work out that much. You see, I'm drinking even water. When it's there, you just drink it. I actually don't really like working out that much. I always worked out, to be honest, but not every day for sure, not that much. And I don't enjoy it. I simply don't, it's not like my thing. I like to walk, and I walk a lot to stay fit, but to go to the gym was like, ugh. Anyway, I didn't rely on motivation. My big goal this year is to be fit, is to have a fit heart, but more than anything, to have a good, clear mind. And you cannot have sharp mind without physical activity. It's simply what it is. Only with physical activity, you can have the mental strength and mental sharpness. And for me, that's like one of my biggest goals is to have extremely strong mental system. And I have to say, is that I think like probably one of my biggest strengths, like my body itself is not that strong, but my mind is very strong and my discipline is very strong. But when it comes to workout, I have zero motivation. And this is where I'm going to bring one of the most important sentences, if you ask me. That is that discipline will bring you where motivation won't. So if you have a goal and you're just not motivated, you shouldn't rely on motivation. You should rely on discipline and be disciplined to achieve all the steps that will bring you there, because it's discipline and consistency, and motivation is like so much less when it comes to success. I think that discipline, consistency always win. I mean, if I can have like just 2 words for you, like as a takeaway from this video, it would be discipline and consistency. Which brings me to some other some other restrictions that I put in this year. Discipline is a muscle, and if you don't have it, it's okay. You just have to set like little things that will keep your discipline stronger. And my discipline is like the one thing that I can bet on anytime, like whenever. Discipline is something that I trust in so strong because I've proven it to myself. Now, some of you, if you followed closely, you will know that every January I do like no sugar. Well, actually from every 1st of January, unless I'm in Serbia, when I do from 7th of January, I do no sugar intake until my birthday, when the first sugar that I take is a piece of cake for my birthday. I do this because I love sweets. I'm very passionate about them. And I could eat, like, this chocolate's now been on the table for so many days. This is basically my boyfriend's eating it. We have like the best Swiss chocolates here in front of me. Oh my god, they smell so good and look even better. I haven't even looked at them because I just didn't even want to look. But we have not that many sweets. Those are the only 2 really sweets that we have in the house, because in order to help my discipline, I also don't buy any. But every year from 1st of January or 7th of January until 16th of March, I do not consume any sugar besides occasional sugar in fruit. So fruit is allowed, but I don't eat as much fruit, because if I eat more fruit, I feel like I have more sugar cravings, and I just don't want to put myself in that situation. But this year I decided to put the bar a little bit higher, because I've done like no sugar January till 16th of March now for quite a few years. I've proven it to myself that I can do it. I've shown myself that I'm so strong, like, and that if I say no, no matter what dessert is put on the table in front of me, I will not eat it. And this is actually pretty hard during Fashion Week, when we have all those dinners, when people bring you like tiramisu and mochi. Already like this Fashion Week, we had 4 dinners, and every dinner there was like dessert. And yesterday I saw some marshmallows, and I love marshmallows, and I was like, oh wow, actually I'm tempted, but of course not. Like in my head, like my discipline is so strong that it's like, it doesn't even exist basically. A lot of people ask me how I do it. I try to help myself by not really shopping for it. Like when I went to supermarket the other time, I saw these like Nutella biscuits, which I love so much, and I just walked past it. I was like, you know, someone said, why don't you buy it now and eat it later? I'll just buy it later because I don't want to put myself in a situation where I could even be a little bit tempted. So I'm doing like no sugar, no alcohol, even though like I do cheers with friends because of course they insist, but I still stick to my own things. And like, you know, I'm like, yeah, I'm drinking, you know, but I like to stick to my own thing, even when people can be persuasive. And the last is the hardest one, which is no shopping. I don't know if you noticed, but this January, I mean, we already had 3 weeks of no shopping. And actually I do have 2 times that I'm gonna break that for 2 different occasions, which you will see soon, because I have like some content creation planned for you guys, but that's been planned since last year, so that's how it's gonna be. But I haven't actually been going out to shops aimlessly. So yeah, it's been like quite interesting discipline strengthening. And I think, like I said, that discipline is extremely important. And there's like a third part of this video in which I wanted to tell you how I make sure that I stay on the right path. So I mentioned some goals to you at the beginning, and we've all heard it before. Goals have to be smart or smarter, they have to be measurable, they have to be realistic, they have to be, you know, all that good stuff, right? We all know it. I'm not going to talk about that. Like if you need to check SMART goals and what SMART goals are, you can Google it. Everybody knows about it. But for me, what I think is the most important thing is to divide them quarterly. So I divided them in January, February, March, etc., etc. And then I asked myself what and how I want to achieve. And every quarter I will be going back. Rather than going back to the goals and looking at them at the end of the year, I will be looking at them at the end of every quarter and seeing what I can improve, what I did well, and how I'm doing. Because then it's like much more bite-sized in a way. Okay, and the last bit of my advice that I'm gonna get to is kind of how can you practice discipline? How can you get to those goals? How can you like figure it all out? I just think it's important to start from somewhere, to write it all down. Writing it down and opening your heart to what you really want is extremely important. I really, really believe that. I think it's so important to be honest with yourself and write down all of your wishes and goals for the year, even the ones that you're scared to admit to yourself. You want to move to London? It's impossible? Write it down. Nothing is impossible. If you don't write it down and if you don't admit that goal to yourself, then it's not possible. But if you do put it on a piece of paper, you're already one step closer, because on that whole journey of the things, admitting a big wish or a dream to yourself is important. The second thing I think that really, really helped me is having a good accountability partner. And I'm coming back to Ksenia again. Like I said, she is great. Check her channel out. She is basically my accountability partner and I'm hers. Every week we do weekly calls in which we discuss some sort of goals that we have for the next week, plans, intentions, and we help each other how to achieve them. At the moment, I'm helping her with some things, she's helping me with other things. We're giving each other advice. Like she has helped me tremendously with my TikTok. She gives me tips on how to improve it, what to do and how to do stuff. And I'm giving her advice on some other stuff. At the end of the week, we ask each other, so what did you do that you intended on doing? Did you make sure that you've done everything? I had one of the intentions that was so hard for me to get out of the way. Like for weeks, I dragged it around. And last week it was on my weekly goals. So I had to do it because I knew that I was meeting my accountability partner and she will ask me if I've done it. So in the end, I have done it and I'm so happy, because it's like feeling you have this deadline, and when you communicate a goal or an intention to someone, you're more likely to do it because they will hold you accountable. Like let's say you want to lose weight, and just for the health reasons, not for, to clarify. So let's say you want to, I don't know, like lose 5 kilos and your doctors advise you. So you tell a friend, and that friend can keep you motivated and help you and sort of like guide you through the hard times, which I think is very important. And if you do not have an accountability partner, I did see in one of the Michelle B's videos that she recommended like an online website where you can find one. I will link her channel below so you can check it out and get familiarized with that a little bit better. Again, one other way for me, like for example, when I don't want to go to the gym, is that every day I post a story from the gym, pretty much every day. Maybe I posted today, I'm not sure. Anyway, I do that because it's kind of like a way of keeping a diary for me so that I can see, it's like a habit tracker. My first habit of the day is done, or one of the first habits of the day is done, and that way I feel like I've achieved something. It's more for me than for you guys, but I think it's still very important. And to finish off with this habits video, I just wanted to say that right habits will bring you to right places, and we all know that bad habits bring us to not so great places. So I think it's very important to have a balanced life, but to try and build some habits that will just create like a healthy, wholesome life. Of course, if you want to. That's about it for this video, guys. Let me know if you have any questions for it. I have to say that pretty much everything that I do is planned, and that helped me a lot. Writing it, then having my Notion, like, so physical and digital planners are what I really believe in. And let me know if you have any other tips for habit tracking and keeping it all, you know, as it should be. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.